Welcome back, everybody, to yet another episode of the Commercial Leader Podcast. My name is Bram Lagrou, and today we're unpacking a hot topic of AI and how that actually is relevant in a context of building capability, driving efficiencies, and producing more output. So, commercial leaders, we obviously are interested in getting results, whether those results are in terms of profit, revenue, KPIs, you name it. So the challenge now is that every time when I see organizations investing good money into training and development that builds capability through people, is that they are really not always getting the maximum return on that investment. Why? Well, if you ask me, having worked with companies across 25 countries in everything from small, medium, and large organizations, it is that there's one key thing, for example, is that there's not enough practice, rehearse, and drill. Let me explain. Let's now say that an organization has invested a lot of money in a 1 or 2 day training or course or seminar, okay, or a conference. And obviously, to pay facilitators and to get the certain IP on board or even a keynote speaker and so on, that typically comes with a certain investment. Now, every time when I ask people afterwards, how did that training go? How did that conference speaker go? What's the return on your investment? They always say the same thing. I was great right from the get-go. But about 2 weeks after the actual event, everything seems to go back to normal, which means whatever kind of uplift initially happened, whatever excitement was built, whatever buy-in happened into something new, and whatever habits might have started off in the first place, there's not enough continuity to sustain an uplift over time that warrants the initial investment. And so, where I then see the opportunity is to actually equip people with tools that allow them to sustain the training and development, because you and I know it's not about knowing what to do. It's not about learning a new theory or a new framework or a new model. It's about what you do with that newfound knowledge and how you make that practically relevant in the role you're in. So whether you're a leader, you're a client facing in either a BD or a sales role, or you're part of the team that needs to execute a strategy and a new model. Well, all of these three streams that I just referenced, newfound knowledge only helps them to the extent that they actually put it to work, not just once, not twice, but long enough, sustained over time. Everything really worthwhile creates momentum, and the start is always the hardest. So yes, getting started is one thing, but how to actually keep it going long enough so that the initial investment of time and money is actually paying off is a different thing. And too often, any training or learning and development initiative or conference and so on is money spent in vain. So you started off, but you didn't go long enough at it. And this is where I find that practice, rehearse, and drill is one key thing that most organizations should look for good tools for. And that's obviously where the AI space gets pretty exciting. I've scanned the market. I've looked at all sorts of tools available that actually allow people to learn certain skills. So, for example, it could be like, how do you do public speaking? And you get critique through an AI on your performance. How many filler words are you using? How many ums are you using? How many and how many of those do you have? How is your voice? How is your pitch? How's your tonality? What's your body language like? Are you open or closed in terms of your body language? Certain AI platforms give feedback on that, and therefore they help to practice and rehearse at a very cost-effective level. As opposed to hiring an executive coach or a sales coach or somebody else, communication coach and so on, that would actually help people to build that capability and sustain it over time. Now, obviously, when you're a manager, let's just take sales manager as an example, those people can also help to practice, rehearse, and drill for key stakeholder meetings like closing or having your weekly call where you practice, for example, how to deal with, hey, we got to think about it, or now we don't have any budget. All these client concerns that are genuine or really a stall or an excuse, we can learn how to work with them with a sales manager that sees that building muscle over time and doing small sprints and bite-sized chunks. The more busy these people are, the less time they have to build capability that way. And the challenge that we sometimes experience in that context is that people don't get the feedback or the help or the preparation time and the opportunity to role play a key stakeholder meeting at the right time. Because, for example, when I'm in my car or you are in your car and you're about to go into a meeting, that's as good as the opportunity it gets to practice and role play before the actual meeting happens. And so then the question is, what tools do you have available and do you have access to that actually help you perform when it matters most, right? And again, back to AI and also to tools that are available, I see that very often feedback is given in the rear view mirror. It's almost like an accountant looks at your profit and loss statement after it happens and then critiques it looking back in the past. Well, there is value in that. What if the preparation actually happens before the meeting happens, before the result was obtained? And you also are not only practicing, rehearsing, and drilling before the meeting, therefore building capability, building a muscle and cellular memory, building confidence levels as well, and finesse the wording, the communication bit that is so important in any stakeholder meeting, whether that is a leader with a staff member that has drifted off a little bit or that is about to jump ship and move to another company because they don't like really what's going on in the current environment. They don't feel recognized, they don't feel heard, they don't feel validated, or they just feel dismissed, right? And then somebody else comes along, headhunter, knock their door, lure them with a carrot, maybe better pay and so on, and then they jump ship. And we thought it was because of the money, whilst really it was just because the people didn't feel good in the present company. These are all communication matters that leaders and managers can avoid having by just becoming more effective at the art of communication and people engagement. Same also, of course, with the sales and BD people, the people that are actually client facing and can find opportunities that really matter, that open up a client account, that expand revenue and profit, and also potentially cross-sell to other divisions within the same organization, or move projects based on to recurring revenue streams through service level agreements or licensing models. So the idea is we have so much opportunity left untapped in any organization. Even sometimes we have technical people that are client facing and they're underutilized from a business development perspective. And once again, the whole idea of today is saying, how can we build more capability, do it more efficiently, and lift performance overall for commercial leaders with what we already have, just by adding a few more bits and pieces? So what would that look like? What sort of tools would really help? Whether they're AI or learning and development systems or learning management systems that really kind of supercharge it, but also still have the right component between online, offline, automated versus real, theoretical, and practical application. And that beautiful hybrid is where I believe the future lives. This is where the best of two worlds come together. AI definitely has a component in that. Learning and development through traditional means like training and coaching, whether in group or one-on-one, that has value. But I personally believe that architecting the right bits and pieces and making them come together in a meaningful way for the organization and what it's trying to achieve, that's where great opportunity lives. It's bespoke. You might have seen a previous podcast where I spoke about You can wear an off-the-shelf suit, or you can wear the bespoke one that is tailor-made for you and your body type. Guess one which fits best. Guess one which looks best. Obviously, the bespoke tailor-made suit. And that's exactly where I see that there's a lot of opportunity in the learning and development space, but also in the execution space, and ensuring that CRMs like Salesforce and HubSpot that gather a lot of data and where all of our proposals go in, and also more people and culture related metrics like absenteeism, engagement, NPS scores, internal then, a number of sick day leaves, work health and safety claims, any other legal claims that employees or former employees raise against their employers. There's all these things. And obviously staff turnover rate, which is an important one, and recruitment fees. There's all these metrics that are measured, but I don't think that really they are really well coming together in the one place that really informs commercial leaders on how to make smarter investments in systems, processes, and people, and make sure that they are all well aligned. Now, I'm sharing openly with you, and I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Let me know below this video, or reach out to us at Lagrou Partners. We're always enjoying a chat with people that understand that results can be engineered by putting the right things in place for it. And that's exactly the sort of advisory work that we do with our clients in Australia and overseas. I want to thank you, first of all, again, for tuning in with the Commercial Leader Podcast. And I very much look forward to seeing you again next time. My name is Bram.